So this is how my Sunday started out, and guess which car this was on, guys? You guessed it, it was the new, to me, E55 Amg, and everyone swears as to how bulletproof these cars are. This is my second M113K, and I've had more problems with the M113K than I've ever had with the M156 cars, which is ironic, but it is what it is. I have to get this thing fixed. This is my daily driver. I know it is not the cheapest daily driver, but nevertheless, let me show you guys what happened. I already took apart the radiator support, and I took the fan out because there's some big work we need to do. So the Supercharger idler pulley cracked right here. My theory is that, well, I know for a fact that the belt on here, the serpentine belt, was too wide and it was sitting on the lip of this pulley. And then on top of that, there was an oil leak in this car, which is coming from, I believe, the oil filter housing O-rings and from the power steering O-ring. So I will be changing everything while you're in there. And of course the harmonic balancer split when the belt got stuck and lodged in. And I guess it's a good thing it happened. It happened while I was standing still, so the damage wasn't immense. It could have been way worse. Could have put a hole through the radiator. I've seen or heard of cases where it could crack the block if it bounces off and wedges in or whatever. So it is what it is. I ordered up the parts, total of $1,200 of all the pulleys, and then I'm going to do the oil filter, the oil change, the reservoir for the power steering along with the O-ring for that. I'm going to change the coolant reservoir. These are very common to fall apart. Look at this, it's deteriorating, and these crack off. So just as a preventative maintenance item, I'm going to do that. I do have plans to do some subtle mods to this thing. I'm not going to go crazy because I am daily driving it, so it needs to be somewhat reliable. I believe I'm going to do a 77 millimeter clutched pulley. I'm going to try to find a steel one. I don't want the aluminum ones. So aside from that, I'll do a ECU tune, which I need for the pulley, and then I don't know, I might do a TCU tune, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too fond of that. My Rentex CLS, the transmission was tuned, and that ended up being a nightmare because, I mean, the previous owners were driving it aggressively. It was more of a show car, and then once it was daily driven, it took a toll on the transmission and it needed to be replaced and rebuilt. So I ordered all factory pulleys for the most part. I ordered a couple Febby pulleys because they were half the price, and they are still made in Germany. And then, yeah, the harmonic balancer I ordered from Mercedes. There was an option of doing a smaller crank pulley, but I think I'm going to stick with the factory size and just change the supercharger. I still have to get some new air filters. I might do just dry drop-in air filters or just the factory ones. I know that they do have the rest of the world air boxes, row air boxes. I know for the M156 they did. I think they might have them for this car, so I'll look into that. But as of right now, my main focus is to get this thing running and driving again. I did manage to drive it home just on the battery. It happened only like 2-3 minutes away from here. At the car wash, while I was parked, it just started shaking and I didn't know what was going on. The battery light came on. I lost all accessories, no power steering. It was very difficult to steer the car. But prior to that, I did go to the junkyard to get some miscellaneous parts. I did get a nice cover right here because this one was cracked. I got a nice hood pad, which is right there. And let me tell you, these clips are a pain in the ass to remove. You can see mine is like torn over there, and it's just from rubbing here, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure why that's happening. It's probably because this started sagging. Yeah, it just got warped and started sagging and wearing. So this one should be better for now. And I did realize I'm missing these covers here. I think they're like tassel, weird, ugly covers. I did see them at the junkyard, so I'll have to grab those. I did manage to get a tail light because mine is fogging up. And what else did I get? I got a blower motor because mine is shot, and I lucked out on this guy because these are like $800 new. This is an OE one. The date code on it is 1021. This thing's practically brand new, and it is a Bosch Mercedes part number, which is awesome. Actually, I lied. 29408. 08 is the date code. I don't know what this 1021 is, unless it was reman, but either way, when you spin this, it's nice and smooth, whereas mine is all rusty up here, and this thing's rusty and the inside's rusty, and that's probably from humidity from Florida. I did get a nice green Gates belt, which you could use on the factory size pulley, which I'll be doing for now. I did get ashtray, which I already replaced. I got another one. Got some wood pieces. I did install. I got center caps too, the right color ones, so that's nice. I did get this trim installed last time, and I relocated the radar. I put it right here so I could hide it now. This piece works, it's fixed. I got this shroud like new. Still a few miscellaneous things. The mirrors are in. I did repair the moonroof, but I have to get into there again because I think I need one more washer to make it stop skipping gears. And I'm gonna look for an armrest, probably the updated one with the nice accordion in the center. I don't really like these cow hooves, and this thing is worn out. So yeah, let's get to work on removing the remainder of the pulleys here. I put some cardboard here for when we remove the harmonic balancer. My friend Joe, who's an MB tech, is going to help me remove the balancer. You need a special tool for that. And I did get a new seal, front main seal, and we'll be changing that out while you're in there. Some of these pulleys may be okay, but I just want a peace of mind. I know that I did it, so it'll be good. So yeah. Now you're going to want to grab a 17, and this is the tensioner. So we're just going to tension it down. To get access to this bolt, we'll loosen this bolt, and then we'll work our way around. This is going to be a Torx, this one right here, and then we have two on the bracket here. So two Torx on the bracket. Alright, this is going to be a T45. Just loosen that one. Loosen this bottom one. And we'll get the wrench here. And drop it. So that bolt is a E12 for the bracket. So I should have left those bolts in. Let's do that over. This is away. And the last bolt on the bottom will come off. Okay, we got the last bolt off. So that is the supercharger tensioner. Next up is this tiny little sucker right there. You can hear that bearing's bad already. This one was nice and easy. All the parts should be here in the next couple of days. Once I get these pulleys off, I'm gonna go ahead and back the car out and clean up the front of this engine. Next, we'll do the last pulley, which will be this guy here. Same thing, it's got a tensioner down here. Grab an extension. I'll get this bolt. I don't know where the other one is, I have to see. That ain't enough. Now the right way to do this is to have the pin, which, my friends, I didn't have. I could have just wedged something in there. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I forgot already. Got this guy out, made in Romania. There's a bunch of rubber debris in the grooves. Alright, so let me show you guys what I did next. I disconnected the radiator hose. I popped out this, and this is why you replace these reservoirs. See here, this is already deteriorating. Look at this. This whole reservoir is deteriorating. So yeah, we'll swap that guy out. And I unplugged it here. There's a little clip. And then drain the coolant. Obviously, there's some spillage. Still some more coolant coming out, but looks like somebody used green coolant, which is not cool. In order to fully drain all the coolant out, you'd have to flush the system with water, run the car, get it to flush it out of the water pump, and then convert to the blue coolant, which I might do. But for now, you can see our oil leak was coming from here. There's that O-ring there, and on the bottom. So I'm gonna unscrew the oil filter, take the oil filter out, and then there's a huge socket on there. I'll unscrew, and then I'll be able to access the 1, 2, 3 Torx screws easily. Once this is kind of all loose, you'll definitely get some oil spillage. I'm gonna drain the oil out. This power steering pump was replaced. They didn't replace, well, they did actually replace the reservoir. The reservoir is pretty straightforward to get off. There's a circlip that holds it over there, and then it's holding here, and there's a rubber O-ring in here that goes bad, and I think this was already leaking. Let me show you guys this guy in here. But this is a Male or whatever, however you pronounce it, not the best quality Reservoir. So I got a new OEM one. Got a new OEM oil filter cap. I know it's the wrong logo, but I don't care. Let's see. Next up, we're gonna take that off. After this, we'll definitely do an oil change. Once we get all this, do the oil change. It is a 1 13/16. There we go. This is where the oil leak is happening, at least one of them. So this was one of the oil leaks. You can see how dry the gasket is. Now we'll have access to these 3 bolts to change out the other ones. And then, not really going to clean too much here because I don't want any debris falling into the reservoir. This one. This one. Alright, we're going to clean the oil filter housing. A clean oil filter housing, and now we'll show you the old gaskets. Look at how hard they are. I mean, they're rock hard. So those were leaking. That was a surefire thing. Let me go ahead and wipe that off. I'll go ahead and grab the new gaskets, which I have right here. I'm going to put some oil on them. Look at this. Look at how nice and soft that is. Now these are the same on both sides. There's no orientation, but it'll slide right on there. So we'll put this guy right in here. And there's another one here. That one pops in right there. This is all set. Sure what, I got an extra O-ring in the bag. I'm not sure what this is for, but picked these guys up for the oil cooler hoses. And this one for the timing, there's a little bit of timing cover. I'll show you guys. They like to leak, it's right here, right there. So these two bolts I'm gonna remove. I'm gonna clean that area off first, and then we'll install that gasket. Now watch your eyes when you're spraying this. Put those there. Also it Torx in the front. Oh, never mind. It's just seized on there. So this guy, we'll clean it up a little bit. We'll pop this gasket off. It's on there, all right. There she goes. It's got a slit in the middle. I think it's supposed to. It's not the worst, but we got one, and it'll be done. For the record. And we'll get our new gasket on there. Let's do these here. Goes in here. Clean this guy up. And I don't think the orientation matters, but I'm putting it back how it came out. Some chimes here. And that one was a little bit of a overkill. Should be good. Old gasket out. As you can see, it is very dry rotted and it was definitely leaking. I got the new one right here. Pop that guy in, and then we'll put our housing back on after we change these seals. Screw off. Put this one here so I know where that one goes. clean this whole thing out. All right. Ooh, a little bit of oil in there still. Put this down. Alright, I got the coolant reservoir in. Now it's time to put the new power steering reservoir in. So next up, I'm going to put in the O-ring that goes in here in this reservoir, and we'll put it. Alright, we got the coolant reservoir in. Tried to transfer the AMG logo. I'll see if I could buy it. It cracked because it's old and dehydrated. I just popped on the clamp ring. I'll plug in this coolant sensor. I just put in the reservoir. My camera unfortunately died while I was doing it. So there's a snap ring. You guys saw me remove it. So same reinstalling process. It was easier to do that before putting this pump back. So now we have the new gasket in there. We'll align this. We'll grab our massive nut, bolt, whatever you want to call it. I'll just wipe off any debris might be in there. Next up, we're gonna reinstall this hose. Just sits right here, pops on, and we got this clip which holds it right here. All right. Now it's time to put the coolant line back to the reservoir here and fill up the cooling system, and that'll be done. I did check the oil level. It's at 8.1 quarts. Manual says 9 quarts, so I'll add a little under a quart. Dealer pump. I'll break it. So we'll put that on. Feed this through here. All right. Put this hose back on. That is in. I'll put this clamp back on. You'd think by now I would have a special tool for this, but no. Comment down below if you work on cars and you don't have the proper set of tools for these clamps. Alright. Maybe some people don't even know that there's a special tool. Always thought that pliers were the tool. I don't know. Right back where it was. I did already pull the car out and flush the radiator from the green coolant. Now there will be a little bit of green coolant in the engine block, which you could flush the engine, you know, 8 times, 40 times. It's almost impossible to get it out. So I'm just gonna do is put in the blue coolant. As long as majority of it is blue, that's what we're worried about. All right, let's go ahead and get our coolant. Actually, So the while you're in there story continues. I got a new water pump today from Mercedes. I got the gasket here. I got a new thermostat, and I ordered the upper and lower radiator hose. Why not, right? That'll pretty much cover everything that needs to be done. So knowing my luck, you know, the water pump would have gave out. There's a little bit of play in it. It's normal. I'll get the notchy bearing, replace that for now, and then I think I'm going to get a 76 mil or 77 mil clutched pulley, just something mild and a tune. I'm not going to go too crazy with this car as my daily, so. And let's go ahead and start taking off this water pump. And I'll also have to take off the thermostat. And I see one of the bolts is behind the pulley, and I don't think there's enough room, so I have to remove the supercharger pulley and go from there. So I did have to drain the coolant that I just poured in, which is fine. I'll still be able to reuse it, but I figured, you know what, now's the time to do this. I did it. There's coolant everywhere. Even though I was being extra cautious, it's shot out everywhere. Kind of inevitable, so be prepared to lose a lot of coolant and such. But once this thing is done, it's going to be reliable and enjoyable, and I'm not going to have to worry about any of these things. The valve cover gaskets were done recently, so I'm hoping that the oil that I saw on this side wasn't from that. I think it was just being spit up by the oil cooler leak and power steering leak. And maybe the crank seal, we'll see when we take it off how that looks, if it even was leaking, but if it wasn't, it doesn't matter, it still needs to be done. T15. And I'm going to place these where I took them out. But I wasn't supposed to take this bolt out. So put that one back real quick. It's the one below that, guys. That's what happens when you're tall. Alright, moment of truth here. Seems like there's still something holding us. Ah. One more bolt there. And there she goes. Yeah, this was needing replacing. Wow, good thing I did it. Looks like... Alright, well, there you have it, guys. I'll take that old gasket out, clean out the area. Now I have access to this brittle wiring that's falling into the coolant that I was going to use. Actually, no, that one I'm not going to use because it's bad. It's got green in it, the other one doesn't. All right, time to remove the thermostat. Let's move this hose out of the way. Somewhere. Got a bolt right there. Alright guys, so I wrapped this wire nice and OEM with OEM Mercedes tape. This is the factory stuff deteriorated. I didn't have to, but I did. New thermostat is on. My camera died. Now I just cleaned out the gasket area. This thing was on its way out. Good thing I did it. And I pulled in one more hose, that small one I'm going to have to order. So ordered up these 2 hoses, and I'm just going to do all those while I'm in there. So let's go ahead and put the water pump on now. So when I took the bolts out, I put all of them where they're supposed to be on the new water pump. And I'll try to transfer that. I'll try to transfer those. Or I'll just take the old water pump out and put all of them in there where they're supposed to be. And then one by one transfer them so that I don't get any of them mixed up. Yeah, so let's start putting that on. I just cleaned that out, best of my ability. Now I'm going to insert this gasket and just wipe it off. Now I'm not tightening these fully, I'm just going around and catching them, and then I'm going to check the torque specs. Alright, so I'm going to torque these to 10 foot-pounds. I'm just going to go around. That's one click. Another. The old water pump is making noise. This thing was on its way out. And if you look here, you could see the green coolant, that cheap coolant was starting to seep through that gasket and eat it away. So I'm glad I did all that. Now let me show you this old gasket. Look at this. It was on its way out. So next up is I'll put the idler pulley back on here. Take that. Let's put this nice pulley on. There we go. Yes, I did spray it. Looks nice, doesn't it? I just gotta clean these bolts up now. Sheesh, these bolts are terrible. So, I had my buddy Joe bring the special tool for the harmonic balancer crankshaft pulley, and without that tool it would have been next to impossible to remove it. It did take quite a bit of force. We got it off, and now I'm gonna replace the bearing in the Supercharger pulley. So all I need to do is I remove the tension off the belt with the 17 here, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove this pulley. And the trick without doing this with a press is once I remove the pulley, I'm gonna need to heat the pulley up so that it is expanding or contrasting. I'm going to need to heat the pulley up so that the bearing, which I'm going to be freezing, will slide into the pulley without having to use a press. Let me show you guys the old balancer. Here's where it's split. The other piece is in the trash already. But yeah, the rubber was worn on it. These two pulleys are actually still good. Not this one. This one is good. No noise from that one. And I think this one was okay still. Might keep this as a spare. But nevertheless, we do have everything installed. Car's running. I'll go ahead and change this bearing and show you guys the process.